Are live. What's up, everyone? This is Raymond Sanchez, and welcome to another edition of Respect the Craft podcast. And I'm joined by, finally, I call him Big Unk, but he is the Prince of Camden himself, Desean Pratt. How's it going, Unk?
Man, it's going well, nephew. What's going on with you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Finally, I had to throw it out there from the beginning because this has been a podcast that was supposed to happen. We're talking off air since August.
Yeah, August, man. Like I said, the weather and the podcasting gods, as we were talking about earlier, they were not in our favor, man. But you know what? We're here. We're live in full effect. We finally get it. Let's make these moves and let's do what we do, baby.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Again, it's funny because I was like one of the first people I wanted the last time I was doing a podcast. I was like, I gotta talk to because again, I know the stories we're gonna talk about, the hidden gems you're gonna share. It's like I want to do this. The weather was not having
Appreciate
it, and then now it's like, okay, finally, I'm back in this. I found an easier way that even if the weather's messed up, we'll make it work.
We'll make it
So
work, right? That's it. No, man. Like I said, we were here. We're full effect, live. Like we going. It's all good.
perfect, perfect. And everything's looking good too. I'm making sure, checking it out just to make sure we're all
Right
live.
on,
Everyone's
right
sharing
on.
around. So perfect,
Good,
perfect.
good, good, good.
So let's catch up then. So how's everything been? Last time I saw you was actually last year as well. So how's everything been, man?
Everything's been, up and down, man. It's crazy, like, but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It's been really crazy. Just, the things that have been happening for me, the things that have been like opportunities wise. Um, I couldn't be happier with a lot of things that have been going on, and it's just like sometimes when these things happen, I gotta go be like, wait, this is happening to me? Like this for me? Like, wait, whoa, hold on now. But it's one of those things, it's like, I couldn't be happier with a lot of things that's going on. I really couldn't be, I really couldn't be.
Yeah. And I think that's always the best when it's like you start to realize like, you know what? Let me enjoy this. Let me live in the moment for a little bit because you
Yeah,
start to
and
question
that's
like
exactly
all this is
right,
happening.
exactly, yo, and that's exactly what I've been doing is living in the moment, and just enjoying myself, like straight up, like that's the main thing. I'm having fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think that's the best thing. And again, we'll talk about a little bit of that because there's a lot to catch up on as well. But we also have some people in the chat already. Hey, what's up? Good cop, bad cop wrestling podcast.
Good
He
cop,
says, "Hey
bad cop
Ray."
podcast.
Yep.
What's going on with you?
Just saying hello, hello. Awesome, awesome. Thanks for joining us. Um, but yeah, definitely. So like even this recently happened. We got to talk about that from the jump here. Congratulations,
I
one of the
appreciate
trainers
that.
down at the dojo, and
Yes.
that's awesome. Again, for anyone at the CZW dojo right now, please, when I tell you, start bring your notebooks and learn from this man because we call him Ung for a reason. Because a lot of us, again, I'll admit, still a student in the game. I'm watching your matches and just doing tape study right there.
Yeah.
Like again, study from this guy. Like,
No,
if you're
man,
watching this podcast right now, start listening and writing notes because Unk's
oh
about to
man,
share
you
some
you know
stuff.
you can't tell, but you're making me blush. You're making me blush, nephew.
But that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did that come to be? Because again, now you're finally coming back into all this. So how
Yeah,
did that
it
position
was
get?
one of those. I mean, one of those things is I love to teach, and
Yeah,
a lot of people have always told me, yo, like you would make a great teacher, So, and just being around, wow. I mean, this coming either March or August is going to be 16 years that I've been doing this crazy sport. 16 years. Man, my beard just got grayer just saying that. Um, and it's just like I've learned a lot. I've learned
yeah,
a lot and learned a lot from a lot of amazing people. And I just want to take what I've learned, those gems, pass them on to the next generation. I was actually at a show recently, and the Monster Factory kids were there because they helped with the ring setup, and I was told them, I was like, listen, you guys got next. When I, hang it up and our generation from early 2000s, late 2000s, hang it up, whatever, you guys are coming up. So it's now you guys got the ball. What you guys do with it is very important. you know, so it's your guy's job to leave this better than what it was. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things, it's like you guys got a responsibility. If this thing breaks down, we looking at y'all. You know what I mean? We're gonna be looking at your generation. So no added pressure, right? But they were you know, they all had that like fire in their eye when we were, you know, when I was telling them that, but you know, they're a great group of kids, and you know, them and the kids that I've come across, you know, even just at the, you know, backstage at the CZW shows, I look back, I would stand in the back and I would just look around, and I'm just gonna go, wrestling's gonna be all right. Wrestling's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? When Unk finally passes the torch, or you know, bows out, I'm like, professional wrestling, especially on the indie scene, on the indie level, excuse me, it's gonna be all right. You know, it's gonna be all good.
Yeah, and that's awesome to hear, because I feel like that's one of the main things. Like, I've had some of the vets on, and everyone, that's the consensus of wanting to make that road for the next generation, wanting those next guys to come up and be like, hey, when it's our turn to say goodbye, you're right there to pick it up.
You're right there. Be ready, because listen, I'm about to time Brady the ball to y'all, so you better catch it. So let's go, baby.
I was gonna say, don't do it too soon, because we still need that match. We'll talk about that later on.
I got a little bit left in the tank, a little something left in the tank. But you know, no, I'm not gonna give him the rock too soon. You know.
Yeah, got you. No, definitely. But speaking of which, let's start talking about a few of the matches that are happening right now. Like last night, again, from our originally scheduled, I was going to talk pre-match thoughts, but let's start talking now post-match. Last night was CZW and C3W's Limelight 2. How did that feel, being all the way in Maryland? How was that? How was that reaction?
Listen, Maryland is crazy for their wrestling. You know what I mean? You know, Maryland has, you know, the MCW, the C3W, a bunch of, you know, us were down there, have a lot of professional wrestling down there. It was a frenzy. They loved their wrestling. They were hot, man. They were hot the entire time. And like I said, they just liked their professional wrestling. They were happy to see wrestling come back to the area, you know, especially in the Havre-de-Grace area. You know, a lot of people were just like, man, I didn't know you guys were running shows like in my backyard. Like, I'm gonna be back here next month and the month after that. And it's like, look, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your pop, tell everybody, come down, you know, at the state
theater.
Thank you, State Theater. I was only there last night, right? Come out, have fun. You know, it's a great time to be had by all. And you know, once again, the fans left happy, and that's all we can do.
That's awesome. I feel like that really is, like, I saw like even someone tweeted about that, and I was like, that's awesome to hear that, getting those opportunities. Like, hey, that made a fan last night. Like, we had wrestling right there.
That is professional wrestling, making moments, you know, gaining new fans, you know, and again, people especially the ones that the show prior we did last month, fan was just like, man, I didn't know that there was wrestling down here. Like, I usually go to the WWE shows.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, man, you know, there's, you know, I don't know what independent wrestling is. You know, and he was just like, this is a lot cooler, you know, than, you know, the big stage, you know, because again, you don't really get to interact so much, you know, with, you know, when you go to the big shows like WWE and stuff like that. So he had a great time. He was talking about how he wanted to come back, and he did. He brought a slew of people with him. So which was awesome. Again, which is great. And then at the end of the day, word of mouth is the best advertisement. You know, so everybody left the show talking, and then people came out, showed up, had a great time.
That's awesome. And I feel like that is the biggest thing, because especially making that fan, you know, he's going to tell, they're going to tell more people. And that's just going to bring even more for the next one. Like from what I saw, it's coming, next Maryland show should be sometime in March. So that's going to be even more fans coming.
It's going to be even bigger. Exactly.
And that's awesome right there.
Yeah.
Like, I think the biggest thing with like us in the tri-state, there's still a lot of new fans being made every show. But I feel like a lot of us, it started with that same type of story of, oh, I didn't know there was wrestling like right here. Like, that's how I found out. I found out at the Elks Lodge in Queens. I was like, wait, there's wrestling?
Yeah.
I was like, and
exactly.
it just starts like that. It just clicks. And again, that makes new fans and moments like that again, it's genuine. It's still that love, that genuine love that you want to see from wrestling.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. And that's what we do this for, you know, the love of it. You know what I mean? It ain't about, I always tell people, you know, people always ask me, well, you know what, how much money do you make? And I'm like, listen, it ain't about the money, man. Like, the money's going to come, you know. It's all about, again, having those moments. Again, people coming to the show, talking about the show, talking about, hey, I want to tell my friends about this. And then you see them come back to the show with, like, you know, 5, 6 plus other people, and I'm like, oh snap, man! Like, word of mouth is amazing, you know. And then it's just kind of like, again, sitting there signing that autograph for the kid after the show, talking to, you know, the fan, you know, again, and making interactions, making moments. Again, I keep saying it, I can't keep saying it enough, because that's essentially what you're doing. That's essentially what we do.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do, is make those moments like that. Because again, absolutely. Even we're getting comments here like, I guess there was even a young fan at the age of 4 last night.
Yeah, she was there. Me. Yes, that's she's a big fan of CMD, which is great. You know, she's awesome. Probably perhaps our youngest fan. Wow. You know, she was at the last show, and she, you know, everyone hated us. This little, you know, 4-year-old girl was chanting the 3-letter CMD, and it was great. You know, so she's an honorary member of CMD. What's up, Kyle?
There you go. There you go. That's awesome to hear right there. That's what you want to hear, because again, like I've even said it. I posted the other day. I started watching wrestling at the age of 3. I'm now 23, and it's like, hey, still in it now. Even more a part of it now. That's like, it starts like that. Who knows? That same 4-year-old. Absolutely. That same 4-year-old might be making her way to the ring one day.
Yeah, so, yeah. Who knows? She's listening. She's strong. And apparently, you know, she can kick Griffin McCoy's butt. Apparently, so
hey,
Griff better watch out.
He had problems with Rich last night, but maybe one of those days is going to be her stepping in the ring.
Exactly. You know, he might be rich, but I don't know if he can beat this little girl, man. She got some hands apparently.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We got more comments here. Let me see. We got good cop, bad cop saying new Desean from that New Jersey. Okay, we're gonna just call it redacted for now.
Redacted, I guess. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. We don't talk about it no more. Okay, all right, cool.
But he didn't know you were part of a Syrian portal. See, good cop, you gotta keep up with the socials.
Listen,
we're gonna speak about that in a little bit, because there's a little clip I shared earlier. We're gonna show you a little bit of it.
I can't get away from it. I listen. That clip makes his rounds about twice, 4 or 5 times a year, man. Everyone's hitting me up like, look at this. And it's just like, look, man, like, it's crazy. It's crazy how, again, here's that phrase again, making moments, right? And that still, to this day, people talk about. Like, that says a lot, right? That says a lot. You know, whether you like you know, that style of wrestling we did back then, you know, however you feel good, bad, or indifferent about it, you're still talking about it. You're still talking about it.
And we're talking about this off the air as well. Like, again, before I even got to know you personally, got to actually speak to you at shows, I saw that clip before getting to go to indie shows like that. Because that's how much that clip would just be around. Like, on YouTube everywhere, we saw that clip of just, oh, this had to be an illegal move, of seeing Gacy get hypnotized. Who would have, and again, seeing that clip years ago, I would have never thought, yeah, I'm going to be speaking to this guy and call him Unc on my podcast.
Listen,
like, I was going to have a podcast.
Right, listen. And it's funny with professional wrestling, like, everything comes full circle.
Yep.
100%. I mean, for me to be named a head trainer at a company that I used to sit on the opposite side of the guardrail, I would spend my money every month, go to these shows. And, you know, I got to know a lot of the wrestlers. You know, I got to know a lot of the, you know, again, I was a big Blackout fan. Ruckus, Sabian, you know, Eddie Kingston, Joker, Bobby Marino. Like, every month I was buying a new Ruckus t-shirt. You know, my that's literally, I feel like that was like my wardrobe back then. It was just all Ruckus and Blackout t-shirts. And then to the point where, as you know, constantly watching and going to these shows, it was like, you know what, I want to do this, you know. And going from doing professional wrestling for 15, almost 16 years, and then being named again a head trainer at the school of the company that again I frequented constantly. It blows your mind. Like, look at that picture. Like, it's hilarious. Like, to sit there and think about that. Like, man, like the journey was real, man. It is real. It's crazy.
Just to show a little bit of a glow up here. Look at this. Like how times changed.
Gosh.
Like it's insane. Which again,
my gosh, I
we're talking about
so
this
badly. I hated that man so much. Oh my gosh.
But we're talking about this off air. It doesn't escape you, but at the same time, I feel like that's also a good thing. Because again, that's how a lot of people got to.
Absolutely not. Hold on, wait. Someone said dance. I will not dance. I'm not. No. I am not going to dance. Dang, nagger. See what you did? Look what you started. Look what you started. Nephew sitting there showing the picture. Now everybody want me to dance. No, we don't do that anymore. My bones hurt. My back hurts. I can't split no more. If I split, I ain't getting back up no more. So that's it.
No. We want Unc to finish the interview here.
Please, exactly. I might have to have you call the ambulance because I can't get up. Look at them.
Oh man. But again, that's what the best about all this is, just enjoying it, having fun.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. But yeah, so again, that it tells you that though. It still transcends, and this has been years.
Like, I mean, that was we're in 2022?
Yeah.
Man, that had to have been what? 12, 13? Maybe?
Almost, yeah.
Almost. And it's still talked about.
We're going to show a little bit of it. Let's show.
Oh, man.
We have to show a little bit. We're going to show a little bit.
All right, a little bit.
We can't play the whole clip, sadly, but here's a little tease of it. It's on my social if you want to see the full one. But here we go, guys. We'll be right back.
In there, CZW ring announcer. He's better not be hypnotized too.
Good times. Good times, man. Good times. Listen, it was crazy, and it's funny because a lot of people will ask me, like, yo, how did you guys come up with that? Like, like with the original one.
Yep.
And it was just one of those things. It was just like, we wanted to do something different, you know? At the time, we were brought in, Combat Zone was just like rebuilding their tag division. And they were, tag titles were vacated. I forget who was the champions at that time. But they were vacated. So, they needed some new tag teams. So we were the wild card team that was coming in. And at the time, it was great to have a Chikara tag team come into the Combat Zone. Yeah. So of course, again, being colorful mass characters. Listen, man, those CZW fans at the arena were savages. Savages, man. Like, they will tell you how they feel about you. And listen, they told us exactly how they felt about us. Like, it was definitely, and it wasn't in a bad way. You know what I mean? It was, they were very passionate about the blood, the guts, the tough guys. And then you got these guys, a Snake and a Pharaoh coming in. And they were just savages.
Yeah.
But to be able to go there and turn those exact same fans around and cheer us and want to see us. In fact, a lot of those same fans, because again, Chikara ran it at the arena too. A lot of those same fans started coming to Chikara.
Okay.
Because they saw our act. And they were like, you know what? I want to see what this is about. I want to see what, where these guys come from. And they were fans of it. The one thing that they would sit there and say was like, this is like a comic book come to life. And I was like, exactly. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. That's exactly what we wanted it to be. And, and it was just, again, it was just really cool to see that, the bridging of the gap, if you will. and it was, you know what I mean? It was just really, really just fun. It was just really fun. Jim, I actually do that. If you haven't seen it, I do that. You know, you just haven't been paying attention, bro. You just haven't been paying attention.
Again, that's what he does now. That's why the dancing stopped.
That's why the dancing stopped. Exactly. You know, the dancing stopped. I took the mask off. You know, that's what I do. I mess people up, and that's it. I hurt people. That's what I do now. You know,
it's a more serious side of Unk.
It's a lot serious, man. It's a really big serious side, and you know, and it's cool to again to be versatile.
Yeah.
You know, to be very versatile. So again, to this day, people still are finding out to this day. Again, you know, good cop, bad cop. I was like, I didn't know that was you. Like, yeah, people to this day are still finding out, and it's fun for me. You know, people walk up to me like, hey, man, he was at work. That was you. I was like, yep, that was me. You know, 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. But yeah, that was me. And it was just like, you know, again, from a night and day.
And that's still great. Like I said, even those that do and have seen it, they're seeing you transition now and what you've evolved into. That's why I love using that word. It's an evolution. Because again, 100%. You kept some of those things you could see in your ring style. It's still a little bit there, but it's evolved into, again, doing exactly what Jim said. You're messing people up now.
I'm messing people up. Listen, we don't play no games no more, man. We don't play no games.
The dancing stopped. Larry might still be dancing. I don't know. Larry still might be somewhere dancing.
Look, listen. If Larry's not somewhere dancing, it wouldn't be Larry. I know he's definitely dancing somewhere. You know,
that's one of the things. I don't know what popped me more in that clip. All of you dancing. Larry just, I think, being the best dancer in that video.
100%. Listen, that was his moment. And he took it, and we was like, "You go, boy. You do your thing, boy. You go. You do your thing." Listen, I'm gonna fall back and let you do your thing.
Gacy at that point just stopped. Like the thing, Joe Gacy's like, you know what? That's it, Larry. You got it.
Listen. That we always like, Larry. That's you. This is your. Where's the spotlight? Put it on Larry. This is your show. We just ended, baby. This is it. This is your moment. Take it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, we got Conrad in the chat. Happy birthday, Conrad. Thank you for joining us. Got Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling. And Jim says he's known you from the Monster Factory. There you go. You
so there was times that, you know, doing shows at the Monster Factory. Yep. The one a debunk company used to run there. And I think that's pretty. I think now that he's mentioned it, I feel like I've known him. I've seen him from there. Okay. It was, or they might have been Riot Pro. I was there for that at the Monster Factory. I've done so many shows there. I can't like pinpoint which one it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say because there's been so many. Again, that redacted company we don't talk, but there's so many more that all gone through that famous building right there.
100%.
Shout out to Danny Cage as well.
Shout out to Danny Cage, exactly.
Yep. But that's awesome. That's awesome. But again, let's start talking a little bit what you're doing right now, because there are shows coming up. Like we said, we mentioned last night's, but also coming up now in February. You're talking about 16 years. Let's talk about a company that's been around now 23 years, which also makes me think I've been alive for that long.
Damn. The company has been around as long as you've been alive. That's wild.
That's still insane to me, because especially like we're talking, I've gotten the opportunity now to assist with CZW. I grew up watching it. And to think how insane that is, it's like, again, you never know of wrestling. It's those moments you never know.
You really don't. And the funny thing about it was, like, you know, I was talking to someone, they were like, yo, like, how did you get into CZW? So back in the day, you know, and then, you know, in the Northeast, you know, you lived in the Philly, Delaware, Jersey area, South Jersey area, there was a like public access television, WGTW, Channel 48. And man, that had like wrestling galore. So like before, there was like ECW was on there. You had like NWA Wildside was on there. So guys like, again, Jimmy Rave, rest in peace, my brother. You had like AJ Styles was on there. Like before we knew him as the phenomenal one, like, hey, Mr. X Division, all the way up to where he is now. Like, it was crazy to see like all those guys back then, again, evolve into what they were. So it was at that point in time when they ECW left public access television, and they went to TNN, the national network. That was when they first got their cable deal. So at that point in time, there was no wrestling, nothing. So one Friday night, I'm just flipping through the channels. Like, I'm bored. I'm in the house. I'm flipping through channels. It's like midnight on a Friday night, and I'm going through the channels. I pass channel 19, and I'm like, wait a second, is that a wrestling ring? Hold on, let me go back. And the first person I see is Ruckus. I think it's like Ruckus and like Trent Acid having a match. Another one, rest in peace. Another one. And I was just like, whoa, what is this? And this is like, I see this letter, CCW, and I'm like, wait, what is CCW? Hold on, I'm drawn in. And I'm watching, and then again, I'm like, come to find out they're like running in the arena, where the ECW was, Again, made that building famous. It's still the ECW arena to this day. It had a big overhaul and a big makeover, but it's still the ECW arena. So, and again, like week in and week out, every week new shows will come up. So again, Wife Beater, the Hate Club, the Backseat Boys, Trent Acid, Johnny Cashmere, all of that was just on TV, and I was just like, yo, this is basically this filled the void of what ECW gave me as a kid, growing up watching this. And, at that point in time, we lost that channel. Yeah. We lost that channel. And a buddy of mine was like, yo, hey, man, what are you doing tonight? It was Saturday night. It was like, this is like right after I was I was actually just graduated high school. So we're talking, I'm not going to tell you the year I graduated, but I graduated high school. And,
I was going to say, don't let them do the math, Funk.
Don't let them do the math. Because listen, you don't need to know all that. Mind your business. My boy was like, yo, we're heading over to Philly at the ECW arena, CCW. We're going to the CCW show. And I'm like, yo, they still run. And they're like, yeah, they still run. It's just that, they were no longer on that public access television station. So I'm like, yo, let's go. Pack the car up. We all jumped over, went over to Walt Whitman Bridge, South Philly, Swanson and Redner standing on it, like in line. Again, just waiting to get into the arena. And that was my first Combat Zone wrestling show. And again, Ruckus was there, Nate Gage was there, the Hate Club. Like it was larger than life to me, because again, I only seen it through a TV screen. Yeah. But being there in the moment, I was just like, yo, this is it. This is what I need. This is what I want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And been a fan ever since.
That's amazing. And the thing, we're talking about that world famous arena again. It's the ECW arena. It's the 2300 arena. And that clip we showed, that happened there. Yeah. Larry pointed that out. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, no. And I mean, even for me too, like it was crazy for the fact that like I made my debut in that building.
Wow.
I made my professional wrestling debut back in 2007. In that building. Like that was crazy to me. September 22nd, 2007. That was my very first Chikara match in that arena. And listen, you want to talk about nerves? I felt like I felt like I was like I had the jitters. I think like, man, I was so nervous because like I knew what that building meant to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I knew what that building meant to me. Yep. And to be able to just debut in that building was just like, again, that was the pinnacle of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? And for me to just like to be one of those people that were there, and again, that had that moment to debut there, still resonates with me to this day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, there we go. We got someone calling you 25 in the chat.
So yes, I am. Yes. That's exactly. Yep. That's yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's why I call him. He's only 2 years older than me. That's it.
That's it. Yep. There we go. Yep. How did I handle the jitters after that? You just go out and do it to it, man. Like it was like, okay, cool. I knew what I was doing. I trained enough. Well, you never really train enough, but
Yeah.
I trained, enough to debut. And you just believe in yourself and you just go for it. And I did, and it was a very successful match. And I believe we at the time we wrestled two of the Chikara veterans in Jigsaw and Shane Storm.
Ooh, okay.
So, which was funny because again, like I remember seeing Jigsaw at CCW. He was junior heavyweight, and I was like, man, this dude is dope. And so again, like you said, comes full circle.
Yep.
To see me like wrestling this guy that I used to pay to see.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Insane.
It really is. And again, like I've said from experience now I watched a lot of you guys, again, even yourself. I saw same situation, watching on TV, watching on YouTube, all around clips, and then getting to now even do this, have this podcast like that, and be able to speak to you guys and be under that learning tree. Like this whole week, I put that out on Saturday about this whole week. To me feels like a learning tree. I'm getting to pick your brain today, talking to guys like Ghost Shadow on Wednesday, Monster Mac on Thursday. Crazy. 25 years in this. It's like, to me, it's insane that, again, wrestling truly is something that you never know what's going to happen. Like I even posted yesterday, it's something that, especially for those that are young in this and are watching right now or listen to this after the fact as well, chase that dream if you really are into it, because you never know.
You never know what's going to happen. Yeah. Like, I mean, to think that one day down the line, I would be able to share the ring with AJ Styles and the Young Bucks, or the Bullet Club, as they were back then, and like that again, that still blows my mind. Like, man, a young kid from Camden is doing this, is getting flown out of the country, going to Japan, going to Canada, going to England, like doing it, just and just getting to see some of the people that I came up watching, and being able to go in and make magic with a lot of these people. It's crazy, man. And like I said, it's one of those things. Sometimes I just kick back and just go, wow, like.
Yeah. And again, it's living in that moment too.
Yeah.
And being able to reminisce about, like, this is all you've gotten done so far, and still doing it. Still making those moments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't plan on stopping.
I was gonna also say AJ's still battling with that Chikara rope though, but
listen, he was talking about the Chikara ropes, but listen, him, look, we ain't gonna talk about that because they did a number on me back then, and I still owe them one. I owe him and Nick and Matt one, so I'm gunning for him.
Oh man, it's funny. I was trying to find the exact date because I do remember one of the first matches I got to see you in was you and Ophidian against Incoherence. At the time, I want to say it was Hollow Wicked and Frightmare. I was trying to find the exact date. You guys wrestled so many times. It's like, I want to say it was somewhere in 2010-11. So to think, again, that's almost a decade later.
Man, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. No, right, yeah. And we definitely wrestled Incoherence a lot.
Yeah.
They were definitely our rivals back then. The Colony also.
Yeah.
We've had many matches with the Colony back then, and like really great matches. Yeah. One fan actually recently contacted me and did a write-up on our tag title match. I believe the show was called Generation X.
Ooh, okay.
I think that's what it was called. And I know that like the main event was Vin Gerard versus Equinox in a Young Lions Cup ladder match.
Yeah.
And we wrestled the Colony in like a 2 out of 3, lucha 2 out of 3 falls match for the Campeones de Parejas. And he was just like, again, just to see a fan to this day bring up a match that happened again like eons ago, and talk about it like it happened like yesterday.
Yep.
And he did a write up on it and everything like that. It was really cool. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, and that's awesome because again, that also tells you it's stuck. It's stuck with someone that they're like, hey, I remember watching this. I got to talk about it some more. Like
Yeah, and
that's amazing.
it's again like to be the fact that like is reliving wrestling history,
Yep.
and that match that all four of us were in is concrete in wrestling history.
Yep.
So that's crazy to me. That's so mind blowing to me.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Let's talk. It's a little more. Let's make it some more history right now. Let's talk about
Okay.
a show coming up with Project Code Name Wrestling. They're
Yeah,
presenting Genesis
yeah.
happening in March 5th, and they announced you're part of the project here.
Yeah,
Again,
no, they definitely, yeah, there's definitely something new that's coming up, a brand new promotion. Yeah, I mean they reached out, they knew what Unc, can do, and they were like, hey, why don't you, we want you a part of the project. So, um, I was like, yeah, let's get it, let's do this, let's make these moves. So when I debut for that, that still will be uh left to be known,
yeah,
but when I know, you guys will know. But yeah, even then, even the fact that I'm not gonna be there, go. That's again, it's a brand new promotion up in the North Jersey, New York area, hotbed for professional wrestling. Get out there, go see it. I mean, go get your tickets. Buy them off Eventbrite or whatever site they, y'all youngest used to buy tickets. You know what I'm saying? I used to line up at the show to buy tickets. We don't do that no more. Y'all technologically savvy, but go out there and support them. Support a good promotion, great talent. Great again, young hungry cats ready to just put it down and do it big, man. So
that's
go
awesome. That's
go
awesome.
definitely check them out. Show them some love.
Definitely go check them out. And again, he'll definitely be sharing his. Let's put up here these socials here. So definitely follow Unk here so you never miss when he's gonna appear somewhere and when his matches are coming up as well. Because you're definitely gonna want to go watch Unk live and go to those ticket sites. Again, everything is we talked about it earlier. Everything is online now.
Everything's
Look at this
online.
right
It's
now.
crazy. It's crazy. Technology. Phase or the stage, the technological stage. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy with that.
Even this, it's still evolving now. Like again, like we said, last time we tried to do this, it should have been over like one program to another. Now it's like everything's a click away
That was
now.
just one thing. You sent me the link. It was all good. I was like, yo, what the heck? Oh, you mean I gotta download nothing? I don't gotta. You're like, nah, man, I got you. I'm like, yo, I'm getting old as hell. All right, cool. All right, all right, cool, baby.
Everything now is like it's again. Even when I was talking to another uncle with Ron Starr the other day, and I was like, man,
Uncle Ron, yeah.
everything is at our hands now. Like he was talking to make even highlight reels back in the day with VHS tapes to be able to try to make a highlight. I'm like, man, I could do this right now off my phone.
Off the phone.
And
He said VHS tapes. You got to sit there, record it. You got to use the 2-tape deck. You got to record it, take it off. See, listen, y'all youngins don't know how good y'all have it, man. Listen, y'all got DVR now. We got to find the tape to record, wrestling,
I'm still at that age. I had to do it too.
Okay, so you know the struggle.
Transitioning.
You know the struggle, right?
I had to find.
Let's talk about it.
Like I had to make sure I had the VHS ready, press record at that moment. Because it's not like now that we can set it up and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put this show to record, that show to record. I'll watch it when I watch it.
Right, exactly. And then you got to make sure you don't record over it.
Yep.
See, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember, my favorite, WWF, WWE show pay-per-view of all time is SummerSlam 92.
Got you.
Favorite. Like I had that. I had my dad, he, we had the cable box, right? The little cable box. And he ordered it for me and he taped it for me. Cool. No problem. I had to watch that tape over and over again. Bret Hart, British Bulldog for the IC Championship, my favorite match of all time. Like, man, broke my heart when my mom recorded over that. Like, I was like, you recorded over, yeah, the fixed box, right? Yeah, see, now I knows what he talks. See, yeah, all right, he hit the box, right? Yeah, so he recorded over it. She recorded over, so I'm like,
oh, that hurt.
That hurt. Like, she's just like, oh, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, You ain't think to pop in the tape press, play, see wrestling. Oh, this is yours. I ain't going. You just. All right, cool. You know that actually brought. I'm actually mad at her again about that now. I'm have to call her about that and bring that up.
I said we're bringing back memories here. That's
yeah, no, 100%, exactly. Right.
No, but definitely that struggle was real. I remember I used to have the tapes that had that little section you could write the name of what it was.
The little sticker, right? You got right?
It's like, oh,
put
which
a
one
little
is
magic
this?
marker, right?
Yep.
I should have had that. SummerSlam 1992.
Don't touch.
Do not, record over it. Like, oh my, that. Listen, that killed me. That killed me. That was probably the worst heartbreak I've ever experienced. When Mom just taped over 1992 SummerSlam. Damn.
But yeah, from there we go to LimeWire that killed all of our computers at one point.
LimeWire, listen. I've destroyed many a laptops on LimeWire. A lot of these cats don't know about Napster, LimeWire, all of that stuff. Oh man, it was crazy. How that like.
I'll tell you, even to watch CZW shows, I would download on LimeWire, and it's like.
and then you like mess up and get a virus on your damn computer.
I was like, it was worth it for that best of the best, but like, damn, I lost the computer.
Yes, I lost another one. Damn, I gotta buy another one. Like LimeWire killed mad computers back in the day, man. That was a wild time, man. You had to be there. You had to have been there.
No, now it's like, no, that's it. Just like, wait, what show? When was that? All right. YouTube. That's it.
That's it. Right now we got YouTube. Type it in, bring back. Look, boom, boom, done. We can watch the whole thing. Like it's crazy. It's insane. Like
for any indie now, even now CZW has CZW Studios, so all that's there. No more computer destroyed.
All of it's there, 100%. Right? Like again, it's for your streaming pleasure. Go ahead and like you just buy the streaming services. That's crazy. Like man,
that's it. Now there's a network. There's Peacock. There's anything you want, it's at your disposal.
It's at your fingertips. So, and it always makes me, it trips me out to be like, yo, what will they think of next? Yep. What will they think of next? I don't know, man. Like, it's crazy. But it's doing great. It's doing wonders for the professional wrestling game.
No, it really is. It definitely is.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, for anybody that's just stepping into, WWE, right? Listen, you got a whole plethora of history. Right, you know what I mean, and thousands upon thousands of hours of wrestling, and it's not just WWE, WCW, WC, WWF, like Smoky Mountain.
Everything now, the territory days, all that's there.
Exactly.
You can search whatever you want to look for.
I always tell a lot of the young kids, study a lot of that stuff too, man, because it's like a lot of the stuff we do now. Bro, they was doing it before we was doing it. You know what I'm saying? That stuff still works to this day. Like, when I'm training the kids, it's like, look, the new hotness is great and all, but, pay respect to, the stuff that paved the way. You know what I mean? The stuff that was hot then to get to the stuff that's hot now. You know what I mean? Like, it was a whole lineage. Like, you got to go back and pay respect to that 100%,
I'll say this. I love seeing, especially guys that they're around my generation right now. They start talking about that. Oh, I saw this watching this match from here, watching this match here. And it's they start showing it. And that new fan that's like, oh, wait, he got it from him. Let me go watch him too. And it just starts that trend of oh, now they have to watch everything.
Everything.
And it's great.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's
great.
Wild, man. It's wild. And it's just going to get wilder.
It really is. And thank you so much, Good Cop, Bad Cop. He says he's going to try to make it out for the April show, hopefully. Definitely go check them out when you're there in Maryland. It's a great time. That show, like I said, check us out on socials because we'll definitely be sharing all that when that's coming into fruition. Those shows are going to be can't miss. I said step into the limelight for a reason because those things
100%,
are going to be insane. But again, it's all that. It's making those memories, it's making those moments, and reliving the history that's gotten us those moments.
Yeah.
It's great to see. It's great.
Absolutely.
What was the match? Again, you talked to us a little bit about that CZW, getting to watch them, and that got you into that indie world almost. But what was a match that, it caught your eye so much? You're like, I need to watch more of this. Like even if it wasn't indie, even if it was Territory Days or something like that, what was it that was like, I have to watch this?
No,
I have to keep watching.
it definitely was Bret Hart, British Bulldog, in SummerSlam '92. Like that was the match. Like I'm telling you, listen, I watched that match like as a kid, 20 times over, and it was funny because it was like I was so in love with the poetic, just like nature of that match. They were family or cousins. They were fighting for, one of the biggest prizes in the professional wrestling. You had, Bulldog's wife, Bret Hart's, Bret Hart's, sibling. Like who do I cheer for?
And so much story right there.
So much story. British Bulldog being a hometown hero, and then and Bret Hart was like an uber, white meat babyface, then. So like hearing Bret Hart kind of get booed then was really weird to me. But man, that match was it was that one. It was poetry in motion, like even to this day, like I'll go back every once in a while. I'll load up the network and I'll just watch it, and it'll feel like,
Yes.
Yes.
We talked about him earlier. What's up, Theo Mac? We'll be talking to you Thursday,
yes,
but now we got to talk about this. Okay, because I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, this is perfect. This is the perfect segue. So people, Steve Mack has moves. The Portal made Steve Mack dance. It's a thing. There, if you go on YouTube, I think it was a Jersey All Pro. That was our debut match, actually. It was the Portal against the Heavy Hitters. And we made Steve Mack do the Beat It dance. It's out there, people. Go see it.
Oh, that's Steve it. Mack I know what I'm looking up later.
Listen, Steve Mack does the Beat It dance. What's up, Unc? How you doing, man? He does the Beat It dance. He does it very well. Don't let him tell you otherwise. It was great. It was great.
Oh, that's great. Again, it's for moments like this, guys. That's
again,
awesome.
Man. Yes, and again, I feel like that should be the name of this episode, creating moments. Because again, we're saying that over and over and over again, because that's what it is. We love you back, Unc, and that's what it's about, man. Like again, be able to talk that again. That's doing that 10 plus years ago, but still resonates to this day with us, to the fans that were there. You know what I mean? To the people that, again, that would come up to me and be like, yo, that was, again, that hypnosis stuff was crazy. Anytime we see you do the dance, it was crazy, and to see that resonate with people, to see the people that enjoy that, like that means a lot to me, because I was a part of something that you enjoyed and you remember, and you're going to remember me for it. I think, and for whoever keeps sharing it, like that's going to continue until whatever, like I don't know, to the test of time. It
really is, and again, it shows.
I tell my friends all the time, like, yo, I can never get away from that damn video. I can't. But it's one of those things. It's a humbling experience.
Yeah,
very humbling to know that, again, that I was a part of something that made people feel good. You know what I mean? It meant a lot, Yes, it wasn't. Yes. Another one, Frank.
Rest in peace, Fat Frank.
Listen, Frank was another person that gave the Portal a big break. He saw us, and he brought us in. It was him that brought us in, and again, the Jersey All Pro fans were just as savage as the CZW fans. So. But to be able to go out there, and I mean, listen, those shows were crazy. I remember our debut match, that was at the Rahway Rec Center. Man, they packed that place out. I remember, I think our debut show there, they had at least 1,500. That was, at the time, that was our biggest crowd we wrestled in front of. Kirkenhall being the second biggest.
Wow. There you go.
But yeah, man, it was awesome. And Frank was just like, we would do our matches, and Frank would just come up to us, hand us our envelopes in tears, just laughing, because we just had him in stitches the entire time.
Yeah.
So it was always cool to know that, when the promoter loves your stuff, listen, you're doing your job. You know,
Yeah.
not only just for the fans, but for for the person that's hiring you, your
Yeah.
boss, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing a good job for him too. You know, that meant a lot. Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Theo, for bringing those memories up because that's awesome to hear these stories. Again, it's what I said when I was talking about doing this podcast. I was like, the stories we're gonna hear is just like it's stuff you get to hear a little bit about when you're hanging around. Certain, you're like, oh yeah, this stuff used to happen. This, but it's like hearing it actually from
Right.
those that were there. It's just
Uncut, the
yeah,
raw, give them the real. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Like again, right now that again that young 3-year-old in me is just like this is awesome. I saw all this, but now we're talking about it. It's like it's great.
It is again full circle, right? Full
Yeah, man.
circle. I think so. I think Nye Roman asked me what was the biggest rib I've ever seen or ever happened to me
Oof.
for us. So one of my favorite stories to tell. So, Ophidian, Lindsay, myself, and Frightmare, we were going down to Galley Lucha Libre
Okay.
out in Chicago. Carlos, loved us, would book us, bring us out on a monthly basis. So we were we did a Mexican festival down in Nebraska. So, which was cool. I was like, all right, cool. Well, what the hell are we going to Nebraska for? But all right, cool. Like, what's out in Nebraska? All right, wrestling. Lucha Festival. Cool. So we go. So we do, we coming from Philly, we do the 13-hour drive to Chicago, and we jump in the van with the boys to go down to Nebraska. Now, listen, the one thing to sit there and be like, yo, to be in the van with a bunch of luchadors, it's crazy. Yo, right off the bat, like, we're dog tired, by the way. Like, we just got off the road, so we're like, yo, we're going to hang in the back and sleep. So we get on the road, we're driving, and I feel, I'm sitting next to one of the bulls, he kind of nudges me, and I kind of wake up, and he's giving me like a Modelo. Like, he's like, drink, and I'm like, bruv, it's like 7 in the morning. He's just like, I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to sleep. I'm like, yo, y'all just getting it in. Like, cool, no problem. So we get down there, and the match was, Finney and myself against Lindsay and Frightmare, and the promoter wanted us to have the main event, 203 Falls, traditional lucha style main event. Again, it was fun. It was like it literally felt like I've never been down to Mexico yet, but that I feel like that show was like the closest I would get to that, like the fandom, the feeling. So our music hits, and we're getting ready to go out, and we go out, and we're doing the match. And we get this referee. Cool, no problem. Referee's, just doing his thing, whatever. So we're doing the match. And at this point in time, I'm beating up on Frightmare. I'm about to whip him. I'm going to whip him into the corner, right? To the far corner. I happen to look over. The referee has his phone out and he's texting. He's texting on his phone. And I'm just looking. I'm like, is he texting? And I'm like, yo, you move. Like, yo, and he looks up like, oh, snap. Walks away to the other corner, still texting on his phone. I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. We're going to do the match. Cool. So we do whatever, bop, match is over. Match is done. Like, this referee was just like all over the place. So we were heated. We were like, yo, who is this referee? Like, we got to go talk to this dude because, like, this dude was just off the chain.
Yeah.
So we go to the promoter. Carlos like, yo, like, what's up? Like, who is this dude? And he was like, no, man, I don't know, man. I think it was with another company too. It was like 3 or 4 other companies, and they were like, oh no, I think it was the other company's referee. So we go over there and go to talk to him, like, yo, like, is that y'all boy, right? And whatever. And he's like, no. Like, I don't know. I was like, I think he came with the other group of guys. So we go. So again, we're like, at this point in time, we're kind of like, all right, we're not too upset anymore, but like, we still want to go talk to him. Like, hey, man, what was that about? So we go to like the dude who basically like ran the festival.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, man, like, first he congratulates on the match, and we were like, yeah, cool, bump all that. Who's the bull in the ring at the time during the match? He looks at us and casually just goes, oh, I don't know. I think that was just a fan. and walks off, and we're just like, wait, what? Like, wait a minute. At that point in time, we couldn't be upset anymore.
Yeah.
We were just like, well, this is a festival. There's a lot of surveillance going around. If a fan jumps in the ring and referees the main event, listen, I can't be mad at that. Whatever. And we just laughed. And I mean, to this day, like, we still laugh about it to this day. To this day, we laugh about it.
I'm just trying to put that into perspective of just like, wait, where'd he find the shirt to ref in?
Foot Locker? I don't know. Like, I mean, listen.
He just was like, I'm gonna see what happens.
Yo,
maybe
that's
they don't have
probably
a
what
ref.
it was. Like, yo, I can just see this dude who's probably drunk off his behind, like, oh, ref shirt. I'm gonna snag this real quick. I'm gonna put this on and see if I can just like secret squirrel my way into the main event. And he did, and it worked. Like he was all right.
Like no one questioned it. Like, oh, okay, maybe he's with them. That's
but
it.
like the crazy thing about it was like after the match, he got ghost. Like nobody. He just got ghost. Like nobody knew where he was. Like he was just he just like like where's old boy? Like literally like pulled the disguise off and dipped into like the crowd of people. And just got ghosts on us. I was like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like, again, like, after that point, like, we couldn't be mad anymore. It was just, it was funny. It was hilarious to us.
Oh, that's great.
Man, like, but good times. Great times. Again, memories, moments.
That's all this episode has been. Is just, it's making memories and moments.
That's it, man. Talking memories.
I'm changing the title. That's it.
That's it. That's going to be the title of this podcast right here. Absolutely.
That's awesome right there. Let's talk about, again, another show coming up because I want to make sure people do come out and see you as well because this was just announced last night. Again, perfect timing. NFW announces you'll be making your debut on May 13th. Feel like
that's another company that's on the come up.
Yeah,
like you can see their match cards, and they got Casey Navarro, Encore Moore, Brandon Kirk, Casey Catal, like the Kirks, if you will, like like I'm like, yo, this is definitely a promotion that I want to be a part of, like I want to definitely, jump up on this, and again, and not only just come on to work, but come on to help. There's a lot of young kids that, that come in on the shows and, and that's essentially, what the promoter and I were talking about. He was just like, like it'd be great to have somebody like yourself who's been around to help, like even agent. And I'm like, listen, I can do that. I can definitely do that. I will, go back and watch every match and, sit by Gorilla and just like, all right, listen, come here. Let talk to y'all real quick. You know what I mean? And give, constructive criticism. Yep. You know what I'm saying? To the point whereas again, that's going to be helpful. Yep. Not, to the point I'm not going to tear him down. I'm not going to be like, oh, you young kids, blah, 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 blah. No, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, okay, cool. Some things were good. Some things were, weren't. Oh, we're okay. I ain't gonna say they were bad. They were okay, but you know what I mean. It was like, so let's turn these. Let me give you some tips to turn these okay things into into something good. You know what I mean. So that way, you can take that on for the next time. Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing about it. Especially that's why I said like, you definitely are someone that's willing to do that. You're sharing those gems. You're willing to talk with them and help them out. That's not just the, oh, okay, this is what you did wrong. This is what you did wrong. Work on it. Like
like exactly, like right, and that's essentially it. And it's not just, and it's not cutting dry like that.
Yeah.
Let me explain why. Mm-hmm. You didn't get the reaction that you were seeking. Okay, let me explain what you could have done. I like what you did, but if you would have did it just a little bit this different, a little bit differently, if you would have pieced this here, over here, put that over there, X, Y, and Z. It would have been, it would have been better. You know what I mean? It would have been the reaction that you were looking for would have been there, and again, hopefully, they would take it, because at the end of the day, they can take it or leave it. All I can do is just offer my constructive criticism and, and I'm going to throw air quotes, expertise. Because at the end of the day with this, you're always learning. You're always learning. You never stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day you get out. I heard that a lot. Matter of fact, I think Kingston said that one time. The day you stop learning is the day you get out. Because one person knows everything to this. Especially because considering the fact that it's constantly evolving. It's always evolving. So, I may not know something. And then again, I can learn something from the younger generation. You know what I mean? I have that mindset that like, oh man, you've only been in 3 years. What can you tell me? You can actually tell me a lot, actually, because again, of how the game changes, so, and it's one of those things. It's like, you can either get with it or fade into obscurity.
Yeah. And that is how this business is. And I feel like that is the best thing about it. Cause again, like we were talking about earlier, technology now is the biggest thing. Like I said, I was that young kid watching this, but I've gotten some crazy opportunities because I know a few things around the technological side.
Exactly.
That's like, it is that social market. Hey, getting to share it around, getting to tell people, hey, this is how you market this. We'll make it work. We'll make it look better.
Yeah, and like I said, and just like you said, you're getting the opportunities for it. So clearly, it's working for you. Keep going. Keep doing it. All right. Good.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ask you about one of those names you mentioned earlier with NFW, Encore Moore.
Yes.
Your thoughts on him? Because that's a dude right there that I was lucky to even come up with him a bit because I got to see his training and seeing what he's become. It's insane to me. That's like, again, seeing that evolution and then now being his own. He's getting his moves now.
Listen, so the first time I actually met him was at IWA up in Intense Wrestling Alliance up in North Jersey.
Yep.
And we were in a hot start scramble. That's their thing, the hot start scramble. So, which basically is at the beginning of every show, they start off with that hot start, boom, coming out hot, right? And he was in there, and I got to run a little thing with him, and instantaneously, like, I'm watching him, and I was just like, oh yeah, this kid's got it.
Yeah,
this kid's got something special. I saw it, like his ring presence, his just like just the air about him. So I actually had the opportunity to wrestle him the following month in a singles match, and we tore it down. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm gonna need you to keep doing this. I'm gonna need you to go and kick it in a high gear. And I was like, because like you got it, you got it, Now, and I was like, don't let that go to your head. Like, I'm still need you to go to training. I'm still need you to study this. But like, listen, you got it. And it was crazy because it was like, I remember, I believe that hot start scramble and our match together was probably like one of his first few matches starting out.
Yep.
And for me to be able to say that, like, yo, like I was able to wrestle this young man, in his early stages. And like, I just, even just to this day, like I still go back and watch that match that we did. And it was just like, yo, like it was awesome. And he was awesome. Listen, that kid's going to have his name on a piece of paper somewhere soon. I want him to stay humble, to stay focused, and stay hungry. With those three things, he can't lose. He can't,
There you go. I hope somewhere right now Andre is listening to this, because definitely, man.
My man, that's my boy. He's a good dude.
Definitely
a good dude.
Awesome. I got to say, with that, I know, again, we've talked about you, but I can imagine you're always keeping that eye out. You're keeping that eye out, seeing those talents. Who are those you're looking to be like 2022, this is the year I want to wrestle this guy?
Man, all of them. Like, there's so many. All of them. I want all of y'all. And I don't care. Nieces, nephews, listen, give them to, I want everybody. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, I still have something to offer.
Yeah.
And I feel like, again, me getting in the ring with a lot of these, these young people in the game, like, I can still give them tricks of the trade, excuse me. You know what I mean? And again, just, elevate them, You know, again, that's one of those things that, like, you know, a lot of people too. Encore was like, listen, after we had our match, he was like, that was probably like one of my best matches so far. And that meant
That's
a lot
awesome.
to me because it's like, you know, that's what I want. You know, that's my, as an older person, and I don't like to use the word veteran because it makes me sound old, but as an older person in this game, that's my job.
Yeah.
That's what I'm supposed to do. You know, I'm supposed to help elevate you. Listen, I got my shine. People know who I am. You know, I'm not here to take, you know, to take your plate, stop your bag. Listen, I'm gonna get mine. You know, like regardless, I'm gonna get me. My job is to help you get yours, and we get ours together. And that's what I told him right off the bat. You know, and even when we were, you know, piecing it together, he was very like, well, I don't know if I should do this. And well, why not? Go for it. Do it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you no. I'm gonna tell you to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What else you got? Oh, well, you know, I do this. Okay, cool. What else you got? All right, cool. Do it. All right. You listen, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh man, you're a young kid. I ain't gonna let you blah blah blah. Nah, bump that. We're gonna go out there, we're gonna do I want you to do you. I'm gonna do me, and we're gonna do this together. And at the end of that match, everybody was standing up, chanting that was awesome, giving us a standing ovation.
There you go. That's what it's about. It's making that moment right there. Again, that's making that magic.
Look, I put my arm around his shoulder and whispered in his ear, listen, you stay here. Get your moment. I'll go in the back.
There you go.
I didn't need it. That was for you. I was like, that was for you. Enjoy it. That was you. That was going to be your first of many.
There you go. And see, I feel like I spoke to Shannon about this on the episode I had her on, and I feel like one of the biggest things when, especially like a youngin talking to you, again, that's like let's not use that. Someone with the experience and season that you've had. It's something to be like, you're worried to not step on toes. You're worried to not like be disrespectful, you know? Like, again, speaking from experience, because I've tried, like when I'm having these combos and I'm like, let me try not to sound like a smart ass here, excuse my language, because it's like we want to show that respect. We want to be like, hey, you've paved that way. So again, you know a lot better than I do.
Right.
So it's definitely that. So I can imagine when you're telling them, oh yeah, let's do that, continue. It's like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Like and it's funny because even then too, like I'll do these matches, and the kids will be like, well, you know, what do you want to do? And I look at battle, like, what do you want to do? And I'll do this, and they'll just look at me like, I'm like, listen, you got a voice, you've been training, because clearly, you know, you have the wherewithal. For the simple fact that you're, you know, again, if I'm being brought in as a guest, your promoter, your boss, put you in the match with me. So clearly they trust you. So in turn, I trust you. Listen, we'll put this together. We'll put this match together, you know, together. We'll do it together. I want you to do this, that, and third. No, I'm not going to stop your bag. I'm not going to stop you from doing you.
There you go.
I trust you. Listen, you've done this. How many matches you've had? 5 or 6. All right, that's more than enough. You know what you're doing. Let's go. I will help you. You know, I will help. Listen, all right, you know, okay, cool. I like what you're doing, but hey, let's do this, that, and the third instead. And they'll just go, I didn't even think of that. And I go, this is what I'm here for. This is to help you. All right, let's go ahead and do it and go do it. Make it and do it to it. Let's make these moves.
Awesome.
And then you know, we go ahead and, you know, we have a conversation in the back. How do you feel? You know, how do you like it? You know, what do you think? You know, if they beat themselves up, like, listen, one of the things I always like to say, there's always next weekend. It's always next weekend, right? If not, there's always next month. So that's one thing, you know, I had a kid one time, you know, he felt as though like he didn't do very well. I was like, okay. I was like, when's the next time when's your next event? When's your next show? He was like, maybe like 3 weeks from now. Okay. Within those 2 to 3 weeks, I want you to go be studying. Okay, I want you to go back, watch this match, think about what you could be doing. And I was like, if you need me to help you, send me a message, and he did. And he sent me his match that he had, and I was like, that was 10 times better. That was 10 times better, you know. And another one too, like I just recently had Rob Martyr. Love that.
Okay.
He sent me one of his matches. this past Saturday. And, I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't going to sit back and watch. I was like, oh, it was a good match. Because clearly, he's sending it to Unk for like, hey, what'd you think? Man, listen, by the time I got done typing, my fingers was hurting. Because I sent him a lot of stuff, and he was very thankful for that. And that, again, that made me feel good because, to be held in that high regard to someone who's doing it, who's making his name, is making his bones, is making his bag. He still wanted to send his match to Unk and was like, hey, what do you think? That, what I'm saying? That was like, oh shit, wow, okay, cool. Like, all right, so I'm going to take that seriously, and I literally probably watched his match before I sent my synopsis of everything, and little critiques, I may have watched his match back like 3 or 4 times before. And like I said, by the time I literally sent them a novel of X, Y, and Z. And I told him, I was like, there's other things that, I feel as though like, we can work on. I was like, but listen, I ain't gonna type all that out. Like I'm gonna see you soon. I'm gonna remember this conversation. I'm gonna grab you and then I'm gonna talk to you right then and there. And he was like, all right, cool, man. He was happy with it, and that made me feel good, to again help out the next generation. Again, that's our job. I'm not, one of those people that's like, oh, well, nobody taught me how to do it, so you figure it out on your own. No, they're coming to you for a reason. Like I'm not going to tell you to go figure it out on your own. You're trusting me to guide you. So I'm going to take that completely seriously, 100%. I'm sure there's people that are like, oh man, that's not how to do it. That's not how they learn. Well, guess what? That's how I learned because I had people, I had Hero. Let me bring your DVDs over to his crib. Okay, cool. This was good, but I feel as though if you did this here, this, that, there, da 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 da, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Notebook, okay, no. Here, and that notebook is still here. I still have that notebook. For again, so that way too, I can be, this generation's hero. With that, with what I mean, no pun intended. But like, I can be that, I can be what Chris Hero was to me. Taking the time out of his busy schedule to sit down with one of his students and break down the nitty-gritty of his matches.
No, and that's amazing because again, it's something I could say now 5-6 years in, getting to be around some great people, but I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen those that are like, oh, you'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
But hearing this, it's like it's what you want to hope to hear. You want to hope to hear someone be willing to break it down for you and help you learn and actually be willing to share that time. Like even with this, like I told you, not to just put you over because you're on the podcast, but even sitting down with me and talking for this little while on the podcast, it means so much because again, I truly do respect what you've done for this business.
Thank you.
Again, the whole topic here, the respect the craft, is because of that. I respect the traditions and I respect what those have done for this craft of professional wrestling. I didn't even have to ask. They usually ask that question first off of like, oh, what does the craft mean? I knew your answer was going to come out on the podcast.
Yeah, it was in a roundabout way. It was going to come out eventually, right? And that's what it is. It's respect. The craft is respecting the forefathers. Again, for me, when I was coming up, the heroes, the CM Punks, the Bryan Danielsons, homicides. You know what I mean? Those guys that paved the way for me. And then even going further back for the cats that paved the way for them, and so on and so forth. As a professional wrestler, that is your job. Okay, that's your job. And I always tell, when I was training at one place, I would always tell them, listen, it's cool to watch the stuff that's on TV now, your AEWs, your WWEs, that's cool. I go, but you gotta watch, the day one stuff to understand why we do this. Okay, you gotta understand that, and then they kind of look at me sideways, like I'm like, listen, I'm telling you. My trainer, said, take your appetite. He said, what did he say? He said, hold on, I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. He said, take your appetite that you have for professional wrestling now and quadruple it. And then when you think you're getting full, go back and quadruple it again. You're always watching, and it's just not just the mainstream stuff. Watch, Joshi, watch, Japanese Puro, watch World of Sport, watch, again, Vern Gagne and all those cats. I watch that stuff because again, especially then, you know what I mean? Back in the day, it was a carnival act, right? So, you know what I mean? That was like a sideshow type thing. That's what a lot of people don't realize that. And it's just kind of like, and look what it evolved into now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it is your due. And when you pay your money and you step foot in that school, it is your due diligence to study, and do not stop studying. Yeah. I'm almost 16 years in. I'm still studying stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say that I feel like that never stops.
It doesn't.
You truly and even to this day, like now, I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, this was cool here on Dynamite or cool on Raw or cool on whatever. But I'll be like, let me start watching this. And I'll put on like a classic match or something and just watch it and just start studying it and break it down like, oh, this is what they did. Or, oh, yeah, I wonder where they got that from. And it just keeps going. Like even now, like
funny. And you'll see things recycled.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, snap, I saw so-and-so and so-and-so do this on Raw.
Yeah.
Look where they got it from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, a lot of people, again, I remember one thing, because he said it on Dark Side of the Ring, Cornette, one of the things he said, he was just like, like in professional wrestling, history will repeat itself. It will always repeat itself. Like I remember with, I forget what it was. Again, I watched way too much stuff. And I forget what it was. I remember he was saying how, like, they, him, Vince, and it might have been Russo, they were sitting in a production meeting and they were coming up with a story. And he literally grabbed one of his magazines from like the 30s, 40s and was like, yo, this right here, this is the story. Like, this is what we should be doing. And they were like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. Yes, we're going to take what was done back then and we're going to recycle it. And I forget what it's going to bother me because I can't remember what it was. But
the minute we stop recording and stop being live,
it's going to hit me. Once we sound off, it's going to hit me. And whatever that storyline was, it took off.
Yep.
Just like it did back then.
And I feel like that's how it is. And it's amazing to see like the newer fans that are like, oh, I love this. I love this. Prime example. This is one of the biggest ones. Bullet Club.
Yeah.
When you see how big the Bullet Club, like it expanded.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, the origins of it, how it like, again, it's a very new age version of what the NWO was.
100%.
And what factions were. And it's
exactly.
like, and again, that transcend, it's still to this day. And those fans that are that like die hard and have studied it. And even the guys, they notice they're like, you see the little elements, even with the subgroups, it's like NWO had it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And the NWO changed the landscape of professional wrestling.
Yep.
It did. Because I don't care who you are. The NWO made you want to tune into Monday Nitro every week because you wanted to see who were they going to get their hooks into and join.
Yep.
Who? I know I did. I definitely did. You know what I mean? So and then when the next person we join, it threw you back. Yep. You were shocked, It was crazy, and again it was working, and that's why like that was it lived for so long. You know what I mean? Because again, it was innovative. It was in your face. It was different. And the way it was written and the way that it was presented to us as fans, it was like, again, it made you tune in. Again, like that's what it was. Every night, Monday night, 8:05, I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to see the NWO. What seeds are we planting tonight to see who's going to turn? Yep. Who's joining them? It was insane, It was great. It was a great time.
Again, it's great to see how, again, that's still to this day, how factions are, how storylines are. It just shows like it's always those seeds are there from like, okay, this blossoms now. This
all day.
This up. It's great.
All day, yeah, man. Absolutely.
Awesome. That's awesome. But again, Unc, I don't want to take up too much more of your time here because we could keep going for hours here.
Oh, for hours, man. Absolutely, absolutely,
But
yeah.
again, we'll do this again another time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, next time we play it out, hopefully it isn't as far as this one, and hopefully the weather allows us to do it again.
Right. Hopefully, we don't get rained out or with some sort of technical difficulty will happen, right?
Definitely. But got last two questions here. So last one I always have to ask everyone is, what's the end goal? Again, we're still talking. You're still in this 16 years young, but in the end goal of all this, what do you see for yourself?
One of my biggest goals that I set for myself. I definitely want to touch down in New Japan. I want to get back to Japan, and I want to definitely go into New Japan. It was funny. It was just like I remember, again, going back to the car rides with Hero and Kingston, like driving out to Ohio, and we're talking about Kenta Kobashi, Masawa, Jumbo Tsuruta, all of that, what up, Smiley? And like all those guys, and that was like, yeah, for me, that's like, my WWE, me going there, that's the end game for me.
There you go. And that, I feel like, again, like we said, with everything that's happened, those moments, you never know what could happen.
You never know.
We could. The next time we talk, maybe it's happened by then.
Maybe it happened by then. I know exactly. It was like they slid in the DMs. It was like, yo, look, I'm making my debut. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? I'm flying to Japan to do it over there.
That's it. The minute you say that's announced, I'll be like, there you go, Unc. That's it.
Listen, there it is. You heard it first. or Respect the Craft Podcast, episode 6. You heard it. You heard it first.
Yeah, that'll be it. That'll be the minute I'm like, okay, we're resharing this clip. Episode was called Making Moments. That's it.
That's it. Right? Exactly.
Right. But again, that's the great thing. That again, I could see it. Definitely could happen. It will happen. Not even gonna say could happen. It will happen.
Yeah, man. We're speaking that into existence, man. We're speaking that into super existence.
That would be awesome. Can't wait. Last thing I definitely do have to bring up. Again, we've touched on so many gems. You've talked about what you want to do this year, especially working everyone. I gotta say, because again, I'm starting to get my feet wet back in the ring, getting back to training. Nice. I'm going to put this into existence. It's not even a question. It's the last comment. By the end of 2022, we're getting in that ring together.
Let's go. Listen, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And I'm going to give you the best damn match you have ever had. That's my promise to you. You get ready. You get ring ready. When you say, Unc, I'm ready to do it, we're going to do it. Now, again, and then that's my promise to you. It is going to be the best damn match you have ever had.
There we go. And what I'm saying it now, because we're gonna bring back to an earlier comment. I don't want dancing Unc. I want that Unc that's gonna.
Oh no, man! Listen, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna beat you up. I love you, but I'm gonna beat you up. Because you asked for it. You ask, you shall receive, and I'm gonna bust your cheeks. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna let you know it's out of love. I'm gonna beat you up though. All right, but like I love you, nephew, but you asked for this.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Even Smiley's saying it. He's worked with that Amasa's guy, but he needs to work with Desean. There you go.
Man, it's a completely different beast. It's a completely different monster. I don't know if y'all want that. I don't know.
Everyone's calling you out, Unc.
Everybody's calling me out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look what you started, man. Look at this. Everybody trying to call me out. Listen,
we're trying to keep you young in this, Unc. We're trying to make sure those wheels are always rolling.
100%. 100%.
There you go, guys. But as always, please go follow Unc. Make sure you're keeping up to date because you're going to want to go see him live. Trust me, like I'm saying, even now, after this, go watch those clips. Go watch his matches because you're going to find amazing stuff and the reason why he's here today. Again, thank you so much, Unc, for coming on. Like I said, this was something I wanted to make happen because it's amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So as always, guys, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people. As always, respect the craft. We'll be talking soon. Peace, Unc.